Hi everyone, thank you for being with me today. I'm Viviana Páez. I'm the news anchor of NMS Univision, Channel 19 in Sacramento, and also the executive producer of Univision Sacramento. I started my career, originally I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia. I started my career in Florida. When I say Barranquilla, Colombia, from the same city as Shakira. Do people know who Shakira is? Or Sofia Vergara from Modern Family also. So I moved to the US, 1998. I started my career in Miami, Florida, in Univision, in the same company. I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico for 2 years as a news anchor. And I came to Sacramento 18 years ago. I have 18 years with the company. I started as a weather anchor, then I moved as a reporter, then as a news anchor, and now I'm the news anchor and executive producer, where I have a role more important in the editorial process of the whole newsroom. We have, in case you want to learn Spanish, how many people here speak Spanish? Okay, so maybe today you're going to learn a couple of words with my video. We have newscasts at 6 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. Let me show you a little bit of what we do in Univision.
Tenemos cobertura de equipo sobre este poderoso río atmosférico. André Iglote se encuentra en vivo desde la sierra. Ignacio Domínguez está en el condado de Yuba. Rachel Cedeño está en Sacramento. Scarlett Galván está en el centro de calentamiento. De esta manera le daremos el panorama actual que se vive en el norte de California. Bienvenidos a este programa especial de migración, donde durante 90 minutos en vivo estaremos contestando a todas sus preguntas. Tenemos a David Ibarra, se encuentra en vivo desde el condado de Fresno, Sadam Aguayo desde el condado de Santa Clara, e Ignacio Domínguez desde el condado de Sacramento.
Y estamos transmitiendo a través de todas las plataformas digitales.
Que me puedan deportar a pesar de que tengo ese proceso de migración.
Esto queremos darle a usted la información, porque la información es...
So this is us. Now we got a new branding. We're called NMS Univision Sacramento. The first newscast that you saw, we were covering the storm. We had a reporter with the snow, with the rain, the meteorologist. We had people covering the streets, how dangerous they were. And because of that newscast, we won one of our Emmys for best coverage in storm. In case you want to see it, I'm going to put it here. Maybe you want to take a photo and see how heavy it is. So that's a recognition. The Emmys is a recognition that journalists get for having an exceptional, it can be news coverage, news anchoring, meteorologists. We get this when we do newscasts like the one you saw. The second newscast you saw, as you know how the world is right now, we're covering a lot of immigration issues. So with everything what is going on here in the U.S., there's many immigrants that have many questions. So we invited 2 lawyers of immigration to answer the questions that the community had. We were live in Fresno, San Jose, and Sacramento. Now I'm going to give you like the basics of reporting in case any of you are interested. Someone is interested in being a news reporter, or you are. Who else? You too, more or less. You're figuring it out. That's good. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide says the 5 W's. This is the basic of storytelling. Who is involved? So who, what, when, where, and why. All these questions we have to respond them in our news stories so people can get all the information. Who was involved in the car accident, for example? What happened? Maybe a DUI, a person who was drunk, crashed. When did it happen? At what time? What day? Where did it happen? The zone or the street. Why does it matter? Obviously, why does it matter? So we know what's going on in our community. Less and less people are watching the news now, but it's always, as I say, always the news. We want to know what's happening in our community. We want to know where our daughters and sons are growing up. That's my daughter, Isabela. So we want to know what is happening in our neighborhood, because sometimes to make changes in our neighborhood, in our community, in our country, we have to get involved. So there's a lot of responsibility being a journalist. When you hear a news anchor, I'm now the news anchor of the 12:30 and 6 p.m. It's more than just glamorous, because I know people sometimes they say, oh, I want to work in the news, I want to be a reporter, news anchor. Oh, it's more than the glamorous of seeing someone in TV. It's a responsibility that we have. Everything is live. We can make an error on the air. Everything what we say is believed 100%. We can get sued. So it's a lot of responsibility, not only like looking as a news anchor or looking as a news reporter. It's a lot of work to be educated in all the issues that we need to send the message through our newscast. Next, Bella, please. News is fast and clear. We have to give the news in 20 or 30 seconds. So imagine, like in my case, Univision gets all the information in English. CNN, we get like 5 paragraphs in English. We translate this information, we write it in 20 to 30 seconds, then we put it in the teleprompter, and then we read the news during the newscast. That it's 30 minutes. Packages is 1:30 to 2 minutes 30. So when the reporter goes out in the field, they get the people who are going through a situation or whatever we're reporting. They have to give all that information in 2 to 30 max. Live interviews, when we have a lawyer or when we have a person for our organization or a university, the live interviews are most 3 minutes. When we talk about television broadcasting, the visuals are so important because you want to attract the viewers. You want to attract the viewers by what the person is saying or about the images, the accidents. That's why breaking news is like, when you see breaking news, everybody wants to see what is happening because the image gets you, oh, there's a persecution, there's a fire, you want to know what is happening in the moment. In TV, we're a lot of us, anchors, reporters, cameraman, technical crew. Now the reporters are also M&J. The reporters go out in the field, they do their own video, they edit, and they present their information. Next one, please. Real voices, real impact. So one of the most important things in TV, in storytelling, is that we get the emotion. Because through emotion, we connect with the audience. I could tell you, I'm thinking, let's say we went to cover a fire. A home got in fire. There were 5 people inside the house. Everybody got out safe. I could tell you that. But if we go to where the fire happened, the mom is there. Oh my God, I was running. I saw the fire started in the kitchen. And then I got my 2-month-old from the stroller. You immediately connect with the emotion. So that's why it's so important in every news report to have these people that tell us how they felt in that situation, because we can connect. People don't remember facts. They remember feelings, the emotions. When you are in the story, like great reporters are reporters that can take you to the scene and you can feel what is happening through what the people are telling you or how they're communicating the message. Emotion helps the audience understand impact, feel connection, and remember the story. I'm going to show you a story we made. Obviously, it's in Spanish, but then I'm going to ask you what you can say about it.
Yo lo vi, por eso que les comenté a ustedes, los contacté a ustedes para ver si pueden ayudar con este problema.
Esto es lo que esta televidente denuncia: basura, escombros y campamentos de personas sin hogar que, dice, llevan bastante tiempo en este lugar y están ubicados justamente enfrente del edificio de apartamentos donde ella reside.
Uno parquea aquí afuera y le roban las llantas, le quiebran las ventanas, se roban los carros.
Nos vienen a tirar mucha basura y se roban los carros.
Los vecinos nos han dicho que aquí a veces roban, no dicen que ha sido usted, pero dicen que algunas de las personas que se acercan aquí o se quedan en esos campamentos roban o venden drogas. ¿Usted puede confirmar eso?
Yes.
Ellos nos dicen que siguen aquí porque la ciudad no les ha ofrecido alternativas de vivienda y que gran parte de la basura que se arroja de manera ilegal aquí proviene de otros puntos.
Viene a la ciudad, limpian y luego otra vez vuelven a tirar basura. Si no es de este lado, es del otro lado de aquí.
Y esto es con lo que nos encontramos en este lado.
Y no se puede caminar aquí a veces porque todo eso está lleno.
Mire, yo quiero que les mostremos para que las personas vean. Yo tengo aquí unos guantes para que ustedes tengan una idea qué tipo de basura es a la que ella se refiere y con qué tipo de basura es que se encuentran los residentes de aquí. ¿Le puedo pedir, por favor, que me tenga esto? Me voy a poner este guante porque les quiero mostrar para que ustedes tengan una idea, para que ustedes vean que no solamente son escombros, sino también, por ejemplo, miren esto. Esta es una botella, se supone que es de leche, un tarro de leche, pero lo que hay aquí parece que es orina.
Orines.
Porque eso es lo que nos decía aquí usted, ¿no? Que también muchas de las personas sin hogar hacen sus necesidades en la calle o de esta manera y lo arrojan aquí. Es por eso que ellos dicen que eso se ha convertido en un problema de salud pública también.
Sí.
Y les preocupa que todo eso esté ocurriendo
sobre
aquí.
todo porque aquí hay escuelas, vienen niños, vienen a jugar acá.
Vienen las personas y dompean aquí como si fuera aquí un dompe de basura. Y no está bien.
Otro de los problemas que ocurre en esta calle aquí en el este de Oakland es que miren aquí ustedes, aquí está la alcantarilla, sin embargo vemos cómo está pues repleta de basura que hay encima y nos dicen que la semana pasada cuando se registraron las fuertes lluvias también hubo una pequeña inundación en esta calle precisamente por eso. La oficina del concejal que en Houston me dijo que están trabajando a nivel local para realizar cambios a las políticas actuales sobre el campamento de personas sin hogar y reiteró que la única manera de acabar con el vertedero ilegal de basura en la ciudad es procesando a aquellos que están detrás de esto.
So with the images, who can tell me what was the story about?
Maybe about the pollution of that homeless area population, how it's probably not impacting, what's the word?
Residents.
Yeah, the residents and how it's impacting the residents' lives in that area.
Which shot captured your attention more of all that we saw?
I feel like putting on the glove and picking up some of the garbage really caught my attention.
So we call that the money shot. When we saw the news report, we were, oh my God, that was the money shot of our news report. When the reporter took their gloves and showed us, oh, look at the bottle full of pee. She said it in Spanish. Tea. So she was like,
I thought it was like chocolate milk.
chocolate, and she could smell it. That's why she said it.
I would want to say also like the homeless guy that was there, because the way he was looking, how it looks like how it is affecting him in his life as a homeless person, and from like that little close-up shot of his arm and whatever it was showing there, how it affected him.
So that's what storytelling is. When the reporter goes, she went there, she took us to that neighborhood. We received a call from that viewer from Oakland, and she was like, illegal dumping is happening here, the city's not doing anything, we have called a couple of times, can you please help? So we sent the reporter, Tamara, she went there, obviously we saw all the garbage, also it's contamination, they're paying taxes, the city should be doing more, so we questioned also the city, we didn't get an answer in this report, but we got an answer 2 weeks later. It was 2 weeks later, so we do follow-up stories to show that we're keeping up with our initial report. So now we were there, our camera saw what was happening, contamination is an issue, illegal dumping, the residents, the kids are walking through there, the homeless population in that area. So we tried to do follow-up stories like this one, then we talked to the city, and then if the politicians tell us, or the council members of that city tell us, oh, we're gonna clean it, don't worry, we're gonna be back in 2 weeks. We go there to the same place in 2 or 3 weeks to see if they're doing what they promised on camera. So I believe that's why it's so important, journalism, because we are like the bridge from the people and the people with power, people that can make that change. So we're like the bridge we have a lot of responsibility because obviously our viewers are confident that we're going to do something for them, but at the same time we have the responsibility with our viewers. The viewers are the ones who have confidence in us that we're going to go to the city, to the mayor, or to the president to get them know about this issue, and then they doing something regarding that. So, do you watch the news here? Someone watches the news? Which news do you watch? KCRA. Obviously, they do a lot of breaking news. They're really good at breaking news. What do you like about them?
It's just informational. Like, I like to know what's going on in my community and sort of just be aware of things that are happening that I might not be aware of otherwise. So it's good to have that information.
That's an excellent answer. People watch here news in TikTok by any chance? There's a lot of people who nowadays just look at TikTok, and that's one of the things that we're trying to do, like traditional TV. Before, we'll sit at 6 p.m. with our family to watch the news while they were having dinner. We were there, we just watched the news. Now everything is changing. People are not watching traditional TV, they're not in the home, everybody's in their cell phone. Let's continue to the next slide, please. Body language is also super important. As you can see, I talk a lot with my hands. I do a lot of looking at you if you're paying attention to me. Stand up confident. If I was standing like this and tell you, oh yeah, my name is Viviana Páez, like, no. You have to stand confident. You have to know what you're talking about so people pay attention to what you're saying. And us, they have to believe us, what we are saying, because we're giving you the news. So it's super important, the body language and the voice you use. The pause, don't rush. I'm really good at pausing, but when I'm speaking English, because in Spanish, I'm like, hola, ¿qué tal? Les saluda Viviana Páez, bienvenidos a Noticias 19 Univisión. Obviously, it's my first language, and I dominate it. In English, I'm slower because I'm thinking, translate it, and then to see if I'm doing the two verbs, past tense, and all of that. You have to be calm when you're talking so people could understand you and then get the message that you are trying to communicate. Be yourself. This is a big one for me in life, not in TV, in life. Be yourself. Everyone is so different. When I was getting into news, I saw all these news anchors that would be like, hello, welcome to the evening news, my name is, and I will try to change my voice because my voice has a higher pitch. So I was trying to be, hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Viviana Páez, like to sound more. Don't do that. You have authenticity pays off. People will believe you. People will believe when you're yourself instead of acting as someone else. Speak clearly, obviously. Credibility starts with confidence. How we speak, how we project ourselves, it's essential in life. Not in TV. When we are presenting something in class, all this matters too. When we are in school, when we're in college doing presentation, public speaking classes, everything. I think all these things we should learn in life for whatever we do. In TV, in accounting, teaching, lawyers, everything. Next one, please, Bella. Okay, so now we were talking about social media, how we're competing with social media, traditional media outlets. So we're trying to do things different. We're trying to make opens different. We're trying to be more creative, using more technology. So this is something that we create just to do something different in this digital era. Let's take a look.
Me siento acechada. Siento que si yo salgo a vender de nuevo, pueden agarrarme en cualquier momento.
Este año las leyes de inmigración no solo se miden en cifras, arrestos o deportaciones, se miden en lágrimas, en silencios y en familias rotas.
¿Cómo les dices o cómo les explicas que quizás ya no, su papá no va a regresar?
Ir allá y con miedo que llegue la migra y dejar a nuestros hijos solos.
Un miedo que se apoderó de una comunidad vulnerable.
Hoy le presentamos las caras de la inmigración, historias reales del impacto humano que han dejado las políticas migratorias. Le saluda Viviana Páez, gracias por acompañarnos. Las cifras confirman lo que muchas familias ya viven en carne propia. 1 de cada 5 latinos conoció a alguien que ha sido detenido o deportado por inmigración. El 59% aseguró haber visto o escuchado sobre redadas u operativos de ICE en los últimos 6 meses. Una encuesta reveló que el 53% desaprueba la manera en que ICE está haciendo su trabajo frente a un 39% que lo aprueba. Entre enero y octubre del 2025, 1 de cada 3 detenidos por ICE no tenía historial criminal. Uno de esos casos es el caso de un padre de familia cuya detención desató una cadena de dolor, incertidumbre y miedo. So we're trying to incorporate more images and we're trying to do more content for social media. I want to show you the YouTube channel. We have now our newscasts at every time, 6 a.m., 12:30, 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. are in our live YouTube channel because people are watching more this kind of content. Let me show you a story now that we did for YouTube.
Conozcan a Rey. Con un ojo va a ver el Super Bowl y con el otro mostrará su gran apoyo a los 49 de San Francisco.
¡Vamos 49ers!
Votado como el fanático del año por la NFL en el 2022, Rey lleva su orgullo 49er a donde sea que vaya. Y no es una ilusión óptica. Rey tiene una prótesis ocular con el logo de su equipo. Pero Rey no tiene esta prótesis solo por gusto. De pequeño tuvo un accidente en el ojo. Luego, con tan solo 15 años, le diagnosticaron glaucoma y a los 30 le dio cáncer en el ojo derecho. Así que el doctor le dijo que iban a tener que quitárselo para no perder la visión por completo. Y Rey solo tuvo una pregunta para el oculista. ¿Me haces el ojo personalizado? Y así es como muestra que es un fanático a morir.
49ers is life for all the Mexicanos and Latinos that root for our team. I mean, this is it. This is what we live for.
So that's are the challenges that now that we're facing. Next one, please. So these are tips that I want to give you in life. The first one, internship opportunities. Let me tell you my story, how I got on TV. I'm originally, like I told you, from Colombia. I came to the U.S. to study journalism. It wasn't safe to study journalism in Colombia. So I wanted to come here to the U.S., study journalism, and started my career here. I got 4 different internships in the company that I wanted to work with. It was Univision. So in my 4th internship in Miami Univision, I was sitting there where Bella is sitting down. They were doing a casting to the meteorologist in that moment. The meteorologist in the casting froze. She was a meteorologist. They were looking for a weather anchor. She had all the information she needed. She was educated, but at the time she was doing the casting, she froze. She didn't pass the casting. I was sitting there with 22 years old and saw all this. So I was like, I was 22. I was like, I could do anything in this world. I went to the office of the news director. I felt that I could do it all with 22. I went and knocked on her door and told her, you know what? I just saw the meteorologist doing the casting. I think I could do it myself. She was a Cuban woman. She laughed so hard at me and she was like, ha, ha, ha. Do you really think you can do it? I'm like, yes, I really think I could do it. She was like, okay, go and train with the meteorologist and I will do the casting in 2 weeks. Obviously, I went to the meteorologist. We study high pressure, low pressure, all the weather that I needed to do to be a news anchor. They were looking for a weather anchor because the main anchor was going out in maternity leave. The weather anchor was going to take her place, so they were looking for a weather anchor. So I did the casting 2 weeks after, and I passed. I passed just because I was doing an internship. I was in the right moment. I didn't have any experience. I dare with fear. This is my favorite slogan. I made it up in Spanish. Atrévete con miedo. Dare with fear. We feel fear every time. And when we want something, that fear, you have it more. But if you don't dare with that emotion, we don't get anywhere. So this is the most important message that I want to get to future generations like all of you. You just have to dare with fear. You just have to knock on that door. I didn't have any experience. I was doing an internship, and I got my first job in market number 3 in the US. And now I'm with you here. If I would have never knocked on that door in the news director, I would have never had my dream job, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm living, and I have my check, I'm living, but I'm doing every single thing, every single day in my life. I go to work wanting to go to work. And I'm grateful for that. And that could be you. But you have to look for that opportunity. You have to do those internships. If you want to be an accountant, if you want to be in the stocks, go to the best companies where you want to work and do all these internships. Be there. The right moment will come and you have to raise your hand. I was 22. I didn't know anything about TV. But just because I dared with fear, I got my first job. I always, when I go to colleges, to high school, to schools, I always tell students, we have so many dreams, and sometimes dreams just stay there. When you ask someone, what's your dream? What's your dream? Oh, my dream is this, and my dream is this. They can really come true if we go and look for them. And we're prepared, and we're responsible, and everything. Learn multiple roles. Now, in TV, before, we had a reporter. Now, reporters are called MMJ. They're multi-platform journalists because they go, they do their own video, they edit it, and they are live. Now, a news anchor. I'm a news anchor. I'm an executive producer. I do audio. I do camera when I need to. The more we know, the more opportunities we're going to have in life. And now the world is going through there. Like, we need to know multiple things. Be authentic. Be yourself. Don't change. Don't change. When I was starting this career, they told me, oh, your voice, you have a high pitch, you move too much, you talk too much, you have this Latina attitude. No. If I can tell you, just be yourself. Be happy of your roots. Be happy of how you are, that you will get far away. That's why, like, when I see Sofia Vergara in Modern Family, everybody laughs about her, but it's her authenticity. I have an accent in English. So just keep being whatever you are, whatever makes you happy, that you're going to get there. Don't turn all those noise, criticism that you get from people. Hire maybe your advisors. I remember advisors that told me you were never going to make it. And now I think about them and like, what do they know? Maybe they had dreams and they just didn't go for them. Don't make all that noise in your life stuck you. Go and get what you want. Go for your dreams. Attitude over aptitude. Now, as an executive producer, I have the chance to hire our future journalists. And now what I have learned from a news director is that the attitude you have in life is more important if you're experienced or no. Because we can teach we can teach someone to be an editor. We can teach someone to be a reporter. But if you have a good attitude in life, we cannot change that. So when we see candidates to be an MMJ, and we have this candidate that is just graduating from high school, but she from university, but she has all the attitude, she wants to learn, it's okay, I don't know how to do this, but you can train me, I will get you that news report. And then you have this person with 20 years of experience or 10 years of experience. Oh, I know how to do that. Yeah, I know how to do that. We always go with the person who has a good attitude. You're going to be dealing with that person. We can train them to know all the skills we need in journalism. So those are the tips that I wanted to give you. If you have other questions for me, maybe I'm missing something that you want to know about my job, that you want to know about being an immigrant in this country, or something that you're curious to know? What do you want to be? What is your dream? For all of you.
I kind of want to like be a director, producer, or an actor. I don't really know.
Okay.
In the film industry.
And why?
Because I like being on camera and like communicating with people and like putting myself out there. Kind of, it's fun and like to express like my creative side.
That's creative. That's also something that you need when you're in TV. You have to be creative. How to do the news report different from the other reporter. How people are going to remember your news report. How about you, him?
I don't know. I'm still finding it out, but I've been kind of thinking like I want to be like I like finance, and I like learning about like how to handle money. Like it's something that's really cool. So I was like looking into being like an accountant, something along there.
That's cool to learn about money. Yes. How about you, girls? Well, you.
I don't know. I kind of want to be a teacher, like a first grade teacher.
That's nice. You know that was my first choice. I wanted to be a teacher to teach, but also in journalism, you're teaching people what they have to do or give them information. I think when I retire, I'm gonna be a teacher too. You already told me you want. Do you want to be a TV reporter or?
I'm just really interested in journalism in general. I've always had a passion for photography and creative fields, and I think journalism is really, really important. It's important for people to know what's going on in their, not just their community, but their country, and what's going on around them. And I think that journalism might be, in my opinion, one of the most important fields.
I believe that too. Hopefully we have journalism for many, many more years. So you already told me your dreams, so you can make them happen. It's in your hands. Remember that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your attention. Hopefully you get something out of it and inspire of getting to your dreams and work hard for them. Thank you.